The things you buy are about to get more expensive. Kamala Harris shared some big news. And scientists found life in a deep, dark place. That's some of what we'll get to on the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Thursday, July 31st. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. The Trump administration is scrambling to make trade deals before tariffs kick in. If you've had trouble following all the twists and turns of President Trump's tariff wars, I don't blame you. But there's a big deadline you should know about tomorrow. August 1st is Trump's self-imposed deadline for broad new taxes on imports to kick in. He had delayed the tariffs, which were announced in April, pending negotiations with dozens of countries. Yesterday, Trump said he had reached a deal with South Korea. If that's the case, the Trump administration will have made deals with 11 of the country's top 15 trading partners. Nevertheless, you might soon start to feel the effect of tariffs closer to home. Some household staples are set to get pricier in the coming days. For example, Procter & Gamble said it's going to raise prices on about a quarter of its products starting in August. That's the company that makes Dawn dish soap, Charmin toilet paper, Crest toothpaste, and Tide detergent. Procter & Gamble said the move was in part because of the billion-dollar tariff hit it's expecting to face annually. Number 2. Tsunami waves were relatively tame after one of the world's biggest earthquakes. Yesterday, an 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the east coast of Russia. Around the Pacific, countries braced for tsunamis. In the past, such strong earthquakes have caused massive, damaging waves. Thankfully, that's not what happened this time. The reason could be that this earthquake did not shift land under the sea as much as previous ones have. That's what pushes the seafloor upward, displacing water and creating tsunamis. Scientists are still trying to figure out what happened and how high the waves reached in different parts of the Pacific. But in the US, at least, there were only limited reports of damage. Number 3. Kamala Harris announced she will not run for California governor next year. In the months since her presidential election loss to Donald Trump, Harris has been weighing her next move. One option was entering the crowded field of contenders who are vying to replace Governor Gavin Newsom, who can't run again. Yesterday, Harris posted a statement announcing her decision. For now, she said her public service will not take place in elected office. But the announcement leaves the door open to another White House bid in 2028. She would have advantages there as well as challenges. For one thing, she has more name recognition than many of the governors and senators considering their own runs. And she built a large fundraising list of small-dollar donors that she could tap again. But on the other hand, she could also be held back by the failure of her last campaign. Many Democratic voters say they are ready to turn the page. Number 4.
On this vote, the yeas are 24, and the nays are 73, and the motion is not agreed to.
More than half of Senate Democrats voted to block arms sales to Israel. Last night, the Senate rejected 2 resolutions. The first would have blocked the sale of tens of thousands of assault rifles to Israel. The second would have blocked the sale of nearly $700 million worth of bombs and other military equipment. They were introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. He spoke on the Senate floor yesterday.
The United States has provided more than $22 billion for Israel's military operations since this war began. $22 billion. One estimate based on Brown University research calculates that the United States has paid for 70% of the Gaza war. In other words, American taxpayer dollars are being used to starve children, bomb schools, kill civilians, and support the cruelty of Netanyahu and his criminal ministers.
Although the resolutions were rejected, they both received more votes from Democratic senators than similar proposals back in April. That shift reveals the growing frustration among Democrats with Israel's actions in Gaza. No Republicans voted in favor of either resolution. Hotter summers could be making us sicker in unexpected ways. That's our fifth story. A study published yesterday reveals more about the dangers of heat to the human body. Researchers tracked emergency department visits and fatalities in California over 11 years. They found that deaths increased in both hot and cold temperatures, especially among older adults. But emergency room visits steadily increased as temperatures did, especially among young children. More people visited emergency rooms for illnesses, including those linked to poison, respiratory symptoms, and nervous system problems. The findings should help public health officials better understand who needs to be protected during heat waves as the planet warms. Scientists may have found a recipe to keep your brain sharp as you age. That's number 6. A study published this week was the largest trial to examine how healthy lifestyle behaviors can improve brain health. The report found that a mix of exercise, a healthy diet, social engagement, and brain games could improve cognitive capabilities. The study focused on older adults at risk of cognitive decline or dementia. So if you want to improve your cognitive health, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is follow these 4 tips from experts. First, move more and sit less. Sitting all day increases dementia risk, so get up right now. But as always, not if you're driving. Second, eat a healthier diet. You can try the MIND diet, which calls for more vegetables, berries, and nuts while limiting red and processed meats. Next, stay connected. Feelings of loneliness can increase the risk for dementia, while strong social connections are key to cognitive health. And finally, challenge yourself intellectually. Stretch and use your brain and your memory in different ways. It's a good excuse to carve out time each morning to do the crossword. And at number 7, a whole new type of ecosystem was discovered 30,000 feet under the sea. Last summer, scientists explored one of the deepest trenches in the Pacific Ocean in a submersible. They weren't sure what they would find, but what they saw was unbelievable. Clusters of tube worms jutting up like skyscrapers, iridescent snails scaling the worms, and bristly white creatures weaving between them. It was an entirely new kind of ecosystem, and it's the deepest one humans have ever found. The animals are sustained by chemicals seeping from the sea floor, and they've adapted to withstand extreme pressure and darkness. The discovery expands our understanding of where life can exist on Earth. For a look at these rather spooky creatures, head over to our newsletter today. Find that in our show notes. All right, you're all caught up. For your next listen, check out the latest episode of Post Reports. It explores why more immigrants are being tracked with ankle monitors and who stands to profit from this controversial surveillance program. Find Post Reports wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to rate and subscribe to the show. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.